I'm very happy to introduce you Giordano Dall'Armellina, who is a great singer of popular ballads since the Middle Ages until today. And today he's been with us because he came to Giulio Cesare Institution in 2003-2004. So this is the 10th year of this ballad project in our school. Now, can you introduce yourself, Giordano?
Well, yes. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Now, I've been singing these ballads for more than 30 years in many different schools in Italy, and I've been performing in many theatres in Italy, in France, Spain, England, Germany, Canada, United States, Australia, and even in Africa, in Eritrea. So many people ask for these ballads. Some people ask for these ballads, so I perform them in different languages. Actually, when we speak of ballads, we speak of Europe. Maybe you don't know exactly what a ballad is. Obviously, a ballad is a song that tells a story from the beginning to the end. It's very important to remember, a ballad is a ballad when the story is complete. Okay? So we tell a story, and we tell the story in many different languages in Europe. At the beginning, the very first ballads were single episodes taken from Les Chansons de Geste. So the first ballads were in Languedoc and in Spanish. Then, from the southern part of France and Spain, the ballad arrived everywhere in Europe. Just about with the same name. We have ballata in Italian, ballado in Languedoc, ballade in French, ballad in English, di ballade in German, bullini in Russian, romance in Spain. Romance, which means the idea of the story. Okay? So, very often we find the same ballad in different languages. We shall see after the example of Lord Rundle, an Italian ballad, Il Testamento dell'Avvelenato, that became then Lord Rundle in English. But let's start with the first ballad as an example, which is Geordie. Geordie is a typical British ballad, and we have many versions of this ballad, more than 200. I've got a version from Scotland, from England, from Ireland, from the United States. Every single version has a different music. Every single version is slightly different. Have you ever read this ballad?
Yeah.
Right. So you know that Geordie was hanged, right? He was hanged because he killed 16 deer. We all agree that he exaggerated. 16 deer, not just kill one. He exaggerated. But the point is that Geordie killed the royal deer. I mean, all the deer in England belonged to the king. So if a man killed a deer, he was arrested and then hanged. That's why Geordie was hanged. Originally, the ballad was Scottish, and then came to England. In Scotland, Geordie does not die, because his wife pays a lot of money to the King of Scotland. The King of Scotland was very happy to see all that money, and so after all he said, well, Geordie after all is not so guilty, and Geordie was freed. Obviously, the ballad, remember, is always adapted to local culture. So in the Scottish version, you have, for example, As I Walked Out over Edinburgh Bridge on a sunny day. In the English version, As I Walked Out over London Bridge, because it is an English version. So we change as well some of the words. The story is just about the same, but we adapt the story to local culture. That's important to remember. In the Scottish version, on a sunny day, because the story ends well. In the English version, on a misty day, because the story ends tragically. What I mean is, it is a code. In Italian, we would say codice. If the day is sunny, as it is today, then the ballad will end well. If the day is misty, then the ballad will end tragically. So from the very beginning of the story, you know that it will be either a tragic ballad or a ballad that ends well. You know it from the very beginning. So you are ready. Okay, a tragic ballad, oh dear, okay, let me listen to it. Sunny day, wow, a ballad that ends well. So psychologically, you're prepared for that.
One misty morning early, I overheard the fabric she made was lamenting for Geordie. Mama Geordie will be hanged in a golden chain. This not the chain of many. He was born of King's royal and lost to a virtuous lady. Go bread with me, my milk white steed. Go bread with me, my pony. I will ride to London's port to plead for the life of Geordie. Never stole no cow, he never hurted any. Stole 16 of the King's royal deer, and he sold them in gold penny. Two pretty babies that I born, they fertilizing my bone. With them everyone, if you spend the life of Geordie. The judge looked over his left shoulder. He said, "For maid, I'm sorry. He said, "For maid, you must be gone, for I cannot pardon Geordie." Chain of money, stole 16 of the King's royal deer, and he sold them in gold penny. Mentre attraversavo London Bridge, un giorno senza sole, vidi una donna piangere.
Rubò 6 cervi nel parco del re, vendendoli per denaro, vendendoli per denaro.
So there is an adaptation of this ballad to the Italian language, and it was Fabrizio D'Andrea who had the idea of adapting the ballad to the Italian language. So Fabrizio D'Andrea continued the long tradition of medieval minstrels who used to translate ballads from a language to another. Now let's see another example, and which is Lord Randall, which is an Italian ballad this time, Il Testamento dell'Avvelenato, that becomes an English and Scottish ballad. In Italy, we sing this ballad practically in all the dialects of Italy. So you have version from Calabria, you have version from Friuli, you have version from Piedmont, from Lombardy, from Veneto. We have about 250 versions of this ballad only in Italy. And then this ballad from Italy arrived in France, and we have Le Garçon Empoisonné in France. But we also have versions in Canada, and in the French in Quebec. Le Garçon Empoisonné in Québécois, which means in the language, the French spoken in Canada. We also have American versions from the United States of Lord Randall. And we have versions in Spanish. El Testamento de Amelia is a version from Spain. Then we have a version from Germany. Großmutter Landenkirchen is what we find in Germany. But also in Sweden, the Last Testament. So, practically, we sing this story everywhere in Europe. So it was a medieval hit, if you like. Everybody knew this ballad. What is the story about? It is a conversation between a mother and a son. The son was poisoned, and the point to understand is why was he poisoned? I will tell you later. First I will sing the ballad so you revise it, you see it again, and then we shall see why Lord Randall was poisoned.
You can sing the refrain if you like.
Oh, where have you been, Lord Randall, my son? Oh, where have you been, my handsome young man? I've been at the greenwood, mother, my lesson for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down. And who met you there,
Lord Randall, my son,
and who met you there,
my handsome young man?
oh, I met with my true love, mother, my lesson for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down. And what did she give?
Lord Randall, my son,
And what did she give you?
my handsome young man.
It was Friday the band, mother, my lesson for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down. And who got you ladies?
Lord Randall, my son,
And who got you ladies?
my handsome young man.
My books and my horns, mother, my lesson for and weary
Weary we hunting, and fain would lie do. I'm weary we hunting, and fain would lie do.
And what become of them?
Lord Randall, my son,
And what become of them?
my handsome young man.
They died on the way, mother, my lesson.
And weary
Weary we hunting, and fain would lie down for and weary we hunting, and fain would lie down. I feel you're poisoned, Lord Randall, my son. Oh, I feel you're poisoned, my handsome young man. Oh yes, I am poisoned, mother. Mark my light soon, for I'm sick of the head. I'm fine with my doom. What you leave to your mother?
Lord Randall, my son,
What you leave to your mother?
my handsome young man.
4 and 20 milk I mother, my lesson 4 and 6.
dove sei stato ieri sera, oh mio bel cavaliere, oh mio bel cavaliere, sono stato dalla dama signora, mamma il mio cuore mi sta male, sono stato dalla dama, oi me che moro, oi me che moro, oi me. It is important to remember that we adapted the ballad.
In Roman, in the Roman dialect?
It's just about the same as the one from southern part of Marche. Very similar. Right? So in the center of Italy, we tend to sing it in the same way. So we adapt a ballad to the local language because it is a question of identity. I sing this ballad because it belongs to my community. I sing this ballad because it is in my language. And that's why Lord Randall is not, this version is not in pure English. It is in Scottish. We have doom instead of down, muck instead of make, kye instead of cattle, or what else? Heart instead of heart. They say heart in Scottish and not heart. So every version must be adapted to local culture. In Ireland, for example, even the name changes. In Ireland, it is Henry, my son. Henry is the name in Ireland, generally. When this, then let's finish off and see the meaning of this ballad. The main question is, why was Lord Randall poisoned? This is the main question. Lord Randall is not married. That's why he says true love, not a wife. A true love is generally a fiancée, a girlfriend. So Lord Randall, we understand, is going to marry his girl. But before getting married, he must demonstrate that he is a real man, that he can give food to the family and the children. So what does he have to do? He has to go to the forest, the greenwood, hunt, and come back with game. You understand game? Animals, right? You come back with game. If you come back with game, the woman is happy. Oh, a real man who can give me food and food to my children. This is what Lord Randall is supposed to do. Come back with food. But Lord Randall goes to the greenwood and he catches nothing. That is his problem. So, probably after 3 days, we don't know, but generally from 3 to 7 days, a man had to spend in the forest. He meets a lady. This lady has the face of his girlfriend. And she's there with a pan and fried eels. Is it logical for you that a woman, a girl, should go to the forest with a pan and fried eels? Would you?
No.
My boyfriend is in the forest. Okay, let me go with my pan. You go with the pan, remember, and eels inside, and really. So she goes to the forest, looking for Lord Randall. Oh, Lord Randall, hello, look, I've got fried eels in the pan. Oh, great, let's have lunch. It is absurd, isn't it? So who is that girl? That girl is not Lord Randall's girlfriend, but a fairy father, right? A fairy. The fairy is there for 2 reasons. One, to defend the greenwood. The greenwood is a magic place in the forest, inhabited by fairies and elves, and where there is the entrance to the world of the dead, the underworld, the world of the dead, right? On Halloween night, for example, the spirits of the dead come out from the greenwood. That's why the greenwood is so important. The dead are there. Lord Randall went to the greenwood and he said, oh, I don't care if the elves and the fairies and the dead are there. I'm a real man. I can hunt there. But he could not. And Lord Randall was punished. in two different ways. First, because he broke a taboo, he hunted in the greenwood. And secondly, very important, because he could not catch anything. The girl, the fairy with the face of his girlfriend, punishes him because he did not become a real man. And that's why she gives him a meal. What is a meal? It is obviously a meal, right? It is something allegorical. The eel represents the male sex. And Loranda eats this Ballad arrives in America, it must be adapted to American English. What is the difference between English from England and American English? Can you distinguish when one speaks English from England and English from America?
Yeah.
You can, can't you?
Can we make some examples?
Yes, we shall see an example of Low Randall. When we sing Low Randall, you will see that it must be sung with the American accent. Otherwise, it is impossible to sing it. Let's see some examples. The main difference between English from England and American English stands in the letter R. For example, if I say, you know, I came over here by car this morning to Giulio Cesare. Giulio Cesare is English. And by car is actually English from the south of England. If I say that in American English, I would say, I came over here by car this morning to Giulio Cesare. Even Giulio Cesare is different from Giulio Cesare. Right? And car is not the same as car. So what I mean is, in American English you pronounce the letter R, car. In English you say my heart, but in American my heart. A mother is not a mother in American English, it's a mother. A father is a father. And dinner is dinner. Right? So, when you sing Lorando, and you say, for example, well, did you get dinner, Lorando, my son? But did you get dinner, my handsome young man? You see that we need to pronounce the letter R. If you don't, you cannot sing it. But did you get dinner? You need the R. And so that's why I say you must sing Moran, the American version, with the letter R and with the American pronunciation. Now you're going to see that part. You can sing with me. You have the copy, don't you? Right. Now let's do something together. You have to repeat after me. Okay? I'll give an example. Oh, where have you been? Oh, Randall, my son. Oh, Randall, my son. Oh, where have you been? My handsome young one, my handsome young one. I've been to the world. Mother, make my best. Mother, make my best. Oh, we're hunting. And then they would go down, and then they would go down. Where have you been? Oh, Randall, my son. Oh, Randall, my son. Oh, where have you been? My handsome young one.
My handsome young man.
I've been to the world.
Why would?
Mother, make my best.
Mother, make my best year.
Oh, we're really hunting. And they would go down.
And I say, oh, I tell
the original version from Scotland. And the ballad also arrived in the long run became Scarborough Fair. A ballad that we also sing in England, in Ireland, and in the United States of America. In America, it became famous in 1962-63, thanks to a movie, They Graduated, and it was sung by Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel. And that's why it became a hit in America. For the first time in history, a ballad was #1 in the charts in America, right? So the ballad was Scarborough Fair, similar to this one, but not identical. Okay, so this is, if you like, is it's difficult to say original because we have many versions of this ballad. This is just one of the many. What is the story about? First of all, the title, Elfin Knight, Cavaliere degli Elfini Town. Why an Elfin Knight? First, have you read the ballad, yes or no?
No.
No, you know nothing about that. Okay. So, Cavaliere degli Elfin Knight. The setting, 1st of May, in a forest. This is the setting. Okay? A boy and a girl. Why the 1st of May? The 1st of May, in Europe, in old times, was the day dedicated to love and to life. On the 1st of May, people in Europe never worked. It was considered a sacrilege to work on the 1st of May. And that's why today it is La Festa del Lavoratore. This is the origin of that. Okay, then we have other historical reasons. In America, on the 4th of May, women died in the fire, and so they thought of celebrating the 1st of May dedicated to those women who died in a mill. But it happened on the 4th of May, not the 1st of May. Then they tried to juxtapose the two things, the day dedicated to love with that historical episode. Okay? So, why do we have the 1st of May? We have the 1st of May because we have the 1st of November. It is the opposite. Halloween is the day dedicated to the dead and the death of nature. The trees die, and consequently, we celebrate the dead in general. Exactly after 6 months, we celebrate the opposite of Halloween. We celebrate life. Even in the Latin word Proserpina comes back after 6 months in hell. She comes back and she brings springtime to humanity. It is the same idea. Proserpina comes back and brings springtime to humanity. So we celebrate life, the opposite of death. The trees are green, everything is beautiful. And the custom was that boys and girls met in the forest, in the greenwood, to make love. They made love to celebrate life. Because if you make love, you give life, and life is sacred. So consider this idea. Of course, there is something erotic in that, but at the same time, it is something sacred. You make love because what is more beautiful than life? And you win against death. So in this ballad, the chorus, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, tells you that it is an erotic ballad. In European ballads, if there is a chorus with herbs, plants, or flowers, it means that the ballad will be erotic. And this comes from Latin literature, Sempronio, and other Latin authors. They mention flowers or plants, and you know that it would be about an erotic writing. Okay? So it comes from Latin literature, and then from Latin literature to ballads. So we know it is an erotic ballad because of the chorus. It's a chord, again, another chord. Right, so the story. There is a boy and a girl. They are in the forest, they meet, and the boy is very happy. Okay, now you have come, let's make love. But the girl says, just a moment, if you promise to marry me, I will make love to you. But if you don't marry me, no celebration. The boy is a bit upset. Come on, don't be so difficult. It's the 1st of May. Let's celebrate the 1st of May. But the girl insisted. No marriage, no celebration. And then the boy has an idea. Okay, I will marry you if you understand my 3 questions. If you understand them, then I will marry you. And here we have the questions. The first question is, can you make me a cambric shirt without any seam or needlework? Do you have the translation on your right or not?
No.
Yes. Do you have to translate that?
I don't think so.
No,
Because they are quite bright students in English.
A cambric shirt, I don't know whether you know what is a cambric shirt. Can you know? Yes, una camicia sottile di lino, right? Bianca. Needlework is when you work with the needle, okay? So the request is, can you make me, which means can you give me your cambric shirt without any seam or needlework? What does it mean? It means I want your cambric shirt, and the cambric shirt stands for the virginity of the girl, the maidenhood, the virginity. So I want to make love to you, this is the request, but not tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. I want to make love now. Without any seam or needlework, it means no complications. Then he says, can you wash it, this cambric shirt, in yonder well, in that well, pozzo, over there. In that well, there is no water. What does it mean? Water means life. The request is, I want to make love, but no children, no future. It is the 1st of May, so don't think of a marriage. I only want to make love. That's all. So water, no water means no life. And in the 3rd, it is the same. Can you dry to me on the thorn, which never blossomed since Adam was born? Here, the allegory is with flowers. Flowers mean life. There are no flowers, there is no life. So again, the same request. I want to make love, but no children, no future. The girl is not stupid. She understands the questions. And she asks 3 more questions to him. I will not now analyze because it will be too long. But the request is, you buy me an acre of land. If you can give life to that acre of land, then it means that you're ready for life. This is the allegory. So when you are ready to give life, only when you are ready to give life, come back to me and I will give you my cambric shirt. So the girl says, you see, I have understood, now you must marry me. But the boy says, well, actually, I cannot marry you. I've got a wife and 7 children waiting for me at home. So you've got a wife and 7 children. Very well then, so go home to your wife and celebrate the 1st of May with your wife. As for me, either I keep my virginity or I will look for another boy, a single possibly. Right? And this is the complete story. Here we have only the central part of the story. Try to sing the chorus if you can. Can you make me a cambric shirt? Percy, sage, rosemary and thyme, without any seam or needlework.
repeat aloud? I can't hear you.
Do you have a favorite ballad between these ones?
Among those ones? Well, to be sincere, not among these ones. My favorite ballads are the Spanish ones. One in Spanish. Those are my favorite ballads. To be sincere. The English ones are very beautiful as well. But in my opinion, the ones from Spain are the best.
Which one?
Which one?
In Spanish.
The name.
Well, we got many, for example, Giordano, Tres Hermanicas.
Can you please just sing it without the guitar, just a little bit, one stanza.
Tres hermanicas eran blancas de rosa y ramas de flor. Tres hermanicas eran, tres hermanicas son. Las dos eran casadas, blancas de rosa y ramas de flor. Las dos eran casadas, la chica en perdición. La chica en perdición.
Just an example.
That's for Ruggero, dedicated to Ruggero.
Valencia. Por ejemplo, hay gente en Valencia que habla también el valenciano.
Sì, sì,
Pero tú no lo hablas.
no, antes lo hablaba.
So we can thank Giordano.
Grazie!
Thank you, and we hope to see you again in our school.